Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's talk about the Vietnam Dong. I will go through at least once a day and read articles involving Vietnam. But there's nothing in there that's overly exciting that I should report to you. Every now and then some more information will come out that I should share with you, just so you got an idea of what's going on. Before we get started though, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel and I surely do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, now is the time to buy the shine. Go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. Oh yes, look at that miner, $1,250. To my subscribers over there on Pimpy's News Network, this could be you. Or even better, this could be you. All 15 squares full, which led to a 64,000 jackpot that I got. That's right, if you're a subscriber on Pimpy's News Network and you pay $5 or more per month, this could be you. Once a month, we will select one name out of the network that pays $5 or more on their subscription, and you will automatically be entered into a drawing. If your name is selected, we will reach out to you via email to let you know you have been selected. We will let you know what day. We will go live on air from the casino, put in $100 on your behalf, and from there, everybody could watch live to see if you walk away with hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and possibly even tens of thousands of dollars. We will all see live on air what the outcome is. That's going to be the fun part of this whole thing. So come on over and join Pimpy's News Network. $5 a month is all you have to pay to be eligible for the drawing. And again, if you're selected, we will do this live on air. You will see what the winner gets. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come on over there and join us. I look forward to it. Oh yeah, we've already done a couple of dry runs just to get an idea of what to prepare for when we do our live show. I think what I'll do is get a practice run in so you guys can kind of see what to expect before we draw the name. We'll do it once a month. Like I said, I'll let everybody know when we go ahead and draw. It should be at the end of every month. And then I'll also schedule the time for the live show. All right, so let's get back into what's going on over there in Vietnam. So most of the articles that I saw pertaining to Vietnam is the fact that they have done a phenomenal job of recovering from the Rona, and their economy is recovering much faster than people had anticipated. If you remember back in 2020 when the Rona first came out, Vietnam was one of the least hit countries. They did a great job of protecting themselves from the Rona. Unfortunately, in 2021, they got hit pretty good. So even though they had a phenomenal year in 2020, in 2021, in the beginning, they were hit with the Rona, but towards the end of the year started to do an outstanding job of recovery. Going into 2022, they are recovered. This is phenomenal for Vietnam. Why does that matter and what's that got to do with the Vietnam Dong? Obviously, if the restrictions are removed, people are open for business, people can go about their daily lives, jobs, schools, you name it. They're out in the public, they're making money, they're spending money. This is what you want in your economy. So congrats to Vietnam, they're doing a phenomenal job. Anyways, Ho Chi Minh City growth remains an X factor for foreign investors. Definitely this first line in this article caught my attention. It says, raising labor and production costs have prompted some relocation, but Ho Chi Minh City remains an appealing investment destination given its market size and speedy recovery, experts say. The part I'm talking about is rising labor and production costs. I know that Vietnam's done a whole lot to make sure that labor cost stays very low. That's why a lot of times they were manipulating their currency so that the labor cost was way down. This allows them to export more than they do import. It also makes Vietnam appealing to people who want to start businesses. Most production companies are opened over there because of the low labor cost. Speaking at a meeting between city leaders and foreign investors late last week, chief representative of the Japan External Trade Organization in Ho Chi Minh City, said while more manufacturers were looking to relocate their production to other provinces because of the rising labor cost and land rent in Ho Chi Minh City, the city remained a popular investment destination. A recent JETRO survey attributed it to the city's great economic growth potential and market size, he said. Here's the thing that I want to point out about this article. Notice how it says production companies are moving around and they're looking for cheaper labor and production cost. That's what these companies do, especially American companies. They will go to wherever the labor and production cost is the cheapest. It says Ho Chi Minh City has been praised for its achievements in speedy post-pandemic economic recovery. Marie Tanawaka, executive director of the American Chamber of Commerce in Vietnam, we continue to see a lot of interest from the U.S. business community in the country, especially Ho Chi Minh City. Of course they do. Remember when Trump had the trade war with China and he slapped tariffs on them? They didn't come back to the United States. They just moved over to Vietnam. She continues to say investors are looking for a fair, transparent, predictable regulatory environment that values innovation. Let me translate that for you. Investors are looking for cheap labor as well as cheap production cost without any interference from the government, without environment regulations. That's why businesses leave the United States. We are overregulated, overtaxed, overburdened. It says the city should continue to attract investment into high-value manufacturing to develop the service economy, especially the digital economy, as well as financial services and healthcare, she said. It is also critical that the city builds a complete infrastructure for sustainable growth and train a workforce that is globally competitive. Yeah, we hope so too. So again, congrats to Vietnam, who's managed to deal with the coronavirus better than anybody else, and they are already seeing the speedy recovery, which bodes well for their economy. Vietnam should shift economic growth model for further development. Yeah, we agree. I don't know, you might not be thrilled about this date though. For Vietnam to realize its aspiration for reaching high income status by 2045, the country will need to shift its economic growth model and sharply improve the government's capacity to coordinate and implement economic policies, reforms, and public investments, a World Bank group reported. It says the World Bank Group's systematic country diagnostic update entitled How Will Vietnam Blossom? Reforming Institutions for Effective Implementation emphasizes that Vietnam's traditional growth model faces major challenges from the Rona pandemic, slowing globalization and the country's increasing vulnerability to external shock, especially climate risk. I have noticed that this has been brought up a lot. It says slowing globalization. There are a lot of experts out there claiming that globalization is dead. And we all know that part of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset relies on globalization in order for it to be successful. So I don't know if they're just trying to get people to drop their guards by announcing that globalization is dead, but it's obviously not working. We can take a look at what's happening here in the United States. Globalization only works when other countries are willing to produce products that you want and need, just like you will for them. But like I said before, if the two countries get in a piss match, then what's to keep them from stopping production of items that are needed? Case in point, 95% of our pharmaceutical medicines are manufactured over there in China. During Trump's trade war, they could have just easily stopped producing medicines for those in need over here in the United States. That put us in a very dangerous situation. So I think leaders are waking up to that fact all over. It says after identifying a series of policy responses and reform priorities, many of which are not new, the report argues that adopting institutions will be the key to success. Vietnam's GDP per capita has increased fivefold over the past 3 decades, while its institutions have not adopted at the same speed since the Doi Moi renewal of the late 1980s, said the World Bank. Vietnam has implemented its development priorities Unevenly over the past 35 years, it has exceeded expectations in trade openness and social inclusion, but lagged considerably in promoting green growth and upgrading national core infrastructure. Such variability is explained by its institutions that have not been always well prepared to address increasingly complex, often cross-cutting development priorities or to facilitate the transition to a higher income society. What are they trying to say? They're not ready for rich people? That's terrible. For the record, Vietnam's poverty level is actually less than 5%. It's better than our country. They have been moving more people in the middle class than any other country out there. And right about now, you're probably saying, then what the heck's going on with their currency? Yeah, exactly. We know that it's being manipulated. They have been caught several times, but nobody's there to lay the smackdown for penalties. We had one president that was willing to do it, and ever since then, Vietnam continues to get away with what they're doing. But we also know that the dollar is dying, and as it continues to lose value, other currencies are going up in value against the US dollar unless they are pegged to the US dollar. So it says right here, improving Vietnam's implementation performance will require 5 institutional reforms. Vietnam will need to create a solid institutional anchor that will transform development priorities into concrete actions, streamline administrative process to increase the effectiveness of government at all levels, use market-based instruments to motivate public and private stakeholders. See, I don't like that they use the word stakeholders. This is what communism does. They use this term stakeholders by convincing their citizens that they are stakeholders in the companies that they work for. It's just the communist way of trying to make people feel like they're important and that they're a huge part of the success in the company. By calling them stakeholders, it also makes it sound like they are vested in it and they can gain wealth from that company, when in fact, you're not that type of stakeholder. We notice that the World Economic Forum uses this term, and so does the Great Reset. So the big question is, will these changes help increase the value of Vietnam's currency? They are further along than Iraq. They don't have any uprisings. They already have better infrastructure and are continuing to work to improve it. They are attracting a ton of foreign investors. They have one of the most successful economies over the last few years. Their GDP has been really outstanding, and they've done a great job of keeping down inflation. So the real question is, what is keeping the Vietnam dong's value as low as it is? As much as I researched, I cannot find a true explanation outside of corruption and manipulation. We know that Vietnam's going to have a phenomenal surplus due to all the exporting it does. But the big issue is this: you have some of the biggest corporations around the world going into Vietnam to have work done there because of the low cost of labor and production. Those people are extremely influential to our politicians. It's our politicians' jobs to protect us from market manipulation. But, if you're going to grease their palms a little bit, they'll kind of overlook any laws that are being violated. That's unfortunate for investors. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.